wind. We want 8 wind. Hey, 8 wind. Hey, we want 8 wind. Who's that? 8 wind. We want 8 wind. 8 wind. We want 8 wind. Do y'all hear that? Do y'all hear that? Tell me. Okay, I got it now. That is from Moray, Nothing Now. His new single that is very, very hot. Ooh, it's coming early. Give it out, give it out, give it out. Guten Morning. This is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. 8 Wind is timeless. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game created by the Hero Twins. I am also your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight we are highlighting a very, very good tasting beverage, Alaskan Amber. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. Shout out to Lurking Class. Are you lurking? Glass is sort of washed. Not so many. Look at that, just that goodness. Woo. Makes me think I'm back in a brewery. Oh, Key, what is happening? James, thank you for joining me. Lorenzo, PJ, what's happening? Yeah, Moray is definitely hey, Marcus the Great, Moray is definitely on it. Like some of his other songs was okay, but the production of this song, and it's just in the music, you can see when a different effort is put in. I think he was just as surprised about Quicksand getting what I think it was 70, 80 million views lately. I think it caught him even off guard. And you talking about some serious bread when you start passing those thresholds. And as we said before, we send protective energy for him because he been making beats, and just because he got that on this, now we won't make no excuses. He was on Jimmy Fallon, he was on the Breakfast Club, so we can't say anything about that. That's his thing. Because some of the times when you get that kind of attention, there's some expectations, and that's between him. But until we know this for a fact, we're gonna send protective energies to that brother. So, what's happening, Moray? Mo Ray, what's happening? You came in, yeah. So we gonna he was on Jimmy Fallon early May, like May the teens or something. I saw. Hey, Crazy Sarge, thank you for joining. It was a funny day here today. Like sweats and shirts, t-shirts. Got home, got a little cool in the apartment, went out and it got sunny. And so doing my walking, I was like, man, I got this goofy sweatshirt and I had a regular shirt on. So it was really funny. Now it's fairly cool. Got cool last night. But next weekend we're supposed to have 90s up in here. Again, that long-term forecast can always change, but it's supposed to be hot, burning down the charts. And it's 55. We are expecting rain tonight, but I think that's it. No, they're showing rain. Yeah, rain quitting by 1. So there's a good chance we'll only get rain tonight and tomorrow morning. And the lows are only going to be about 50, so not as cold. Last night it was 40 something, so it got cold. But high of 66 tomorrow, partly sunny for Sunday. And don't forget, the Indianapolis 500 comes on tomorrow. So that is always a big Memorial Day race. I love almost all motorsports. And they're going to have, I think, 150,000 people, I think. And something I said changed today. Canada had a full arena. One of the, trying to think, had to be Maple Leafs. They had a full arena. So things up there are even switching. I don't know if you can still go to Canada, perhaps. And it's a trip that you got to have a passport to go 5-6 miles. It is kind of, it's like, imagine you live in Detroit. And I remember I was transferring prisoners, and I heard this prisoner one time talking about his goals and stuff. It's like, yeah, we're going to go to Canada. And I'm like, yeah, you got to have a passport now to get to Canada. And passports take generally a few months, so you ain't going to be able to do that whenever you get out. As far as I know, he could still be in there. But I'm like, yeah, it's going to take you a minute to get the passport. You got to get out and then start working on it. And then if you owe anything, they ain't going to let you out the country. So it kind of bust his bubble. He's like, you bullshitting. I'm like, no. Unique Breed, thank you. Overstand, thank you for joining. We just got done reading Journey of Souls by Michael Newton and Ultimate Journey by Bob Monroe. Nice. You can give a little, give us a little bit about each that you enjoyed about it. Why don't you share that with us, Mo, right? Gosh, what am I reading? Brother Reggie, what's his name? Because I'm friends with him on Facebook too. But he put a nice video that's worth watching if any of this South American stuff resonates with you. He is, oh, again, Pomo on Godspeed. Check him out. I think what he's done is released. He had a lot of stuff. Again, we've been putting out stuff since 16. And so he had a lot of stuff. He's not getting a lot of viewership, but the information, as I've said before, there's a spiritualness in Chicago is one reason why they keep Saturn energy directed at Chicago, because there's a very beautiful spiritualness that comes out of that energy. I find that he's tapped into that quite a bit. From all the negative around him that's there, he's found quite a bit of positive energy and almost created his own language, his own psychology in some instances. And yeah. So, and the other brother's name is right here, Medicine Man. He's been around. He's got a bunch of subscribers, but Aboriginal American History Intro. He made a few things that wasn't quite right, but he gets into South America, talking about the Chavan. The Chavan were before the Nazis. The Nazis, the Nazis are the ones where you look down on the land and you can see these big, one's a spider, one looks like a man. There's a bunch of them. The Nazis built them after the Chavan. So good information. I saw some of the stuff. And he talks about the Makava, the civilization before the Omen, which I still think it's a mixture of both. They weren't quite as sophisticated in their pottery. That's one thing that I'll say Dr. Winters had hit me to several years ago. That's another civilization that he has, dug up. But Reggie does a good job. Right now I'm studying about Peru. So it was interesting because what you find in Peru, and I should have brought the books in here, but you find like there's a scene in the Omen lands called kind of like the dancers. In the Chavan, you find the same thing, these same exact dancers. So if you're, not really know about that history, he does give a pretty good exclamation about that history. Okay, so hey, Lorenzo. Moray says Michael Newton talks about how via hypnosis, people can remember their past lives via the superconscious mind, also known as the soul. Bob Moreau talks about his journey through different realisms by having out-of-body experience, and talks about how there is a realm where you believe how dictates what happens, similar to what you say. Okay. Moreau worked with the CIA and says that focus 10 consciousness, you can affect space-time, reality, and our consciousness affects through a few people have full control of it. Yeah, they would try to kill you if you did. Sorry, I didn't mean to read what you did, Lorenzo. Reggie also knows Medicine Man, right? I just checked him out the video before I came here. He has good stuff. Nucleus production. Yeah. Again, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I've been friends with him for a minute. We'd always go at it and stuff, but found his channel and didn't know he had a channel. I've been friends with him for a minute. But good stuff. Some good stuff. Yeah, so it's just understanding that. But thank you, Moray. Like, it was interesting. Let me see. Maybe I shouldn't tell this part. How can I tell this without? Okay, I'll just go from here. So someone recently talked to me about how they changed the future a little bit. And a lot of times you can make these, see, when they go back to the past, like, what was it? Back to the Future, they dramatically tried to change the future by not being erased, making sure these people met and their relationship grows. But you can change it just by this much. Now, as I've said, I got about 800 stitches in my head in a car accident. And I was able just to move my head just a little bit. And it was from being paralyzed for the rest of my life compared to getting 800 some stitches. So when this person came to me and he told me, what he changed, and I was like, okay. And, I had to hit him, the butterfly effect does not exist. So you can go back and it doesn't matter what you do. This system will still And the greatest example is if you went back and killed Hitler's family line, that energy is still going to come through somebody. That's just what this system does, because the systems had used to people doing that kind of thing. If you understand, it's like the one. If quantum, I want to say his name right. It's like you can keep going back, but it's the energy that you're not going to kill. You're going to, and it might come back even a little harder. But okay, my point was just like no. Okay, here we go. Quantum of conscious. Like he gives Dark City being the original one, with Neo being, what did they say? Neo was the third or fourth one. This system creates the ones. That's a lot what you hear with the Jesus story, with the Buddhist story, where there's just always one that comes back that's special and does whatever for humanity. And very few talk about the hero twins working together spiritually instead of killing your brother, which is so prevalent here in America or in Christianity. Shows you the competition, the non-trusting, because that's what it tries to tell you. Don't trust your brother. Almost if they knew about the hero twins. It's almost if they knew about it. So, and I'll say something that Bomber reminded me of. It's like I would keep going back and fighting Cortez. It's like, why you keep going back fighting? You ain't fighting here on this planet. Why are you still going back to fight? Because I want to stop all these Europeans from coming over. They're going to still come over. Different times, different periods. So you're not really going to change anything. Because a lot of times you go back, they might be there, and it might be earlier than what history said or later. Because it's going to, the matrix is going to try to react from your reaction. So my point is, you don't have to glitch for some reason. You don't have to do something spectacular to time move. And you don't have to worry about if you get off the path. Because the butterfly effect ain't real. It's not going to happen like that. This reality is going to adapt. And what do they say in some shows? What has happened already, what is happening has already happened. Man, if you get anything out of Tenet, that's what to get. What is happening has already happened. There's already a ribbon for it. So beautiful day here. Start off with my favorite line, favorite little section. Who are they fucking with in Prior Lake? There's a horse racetrack 5 miles from me, maybe 6. Right, almost like it's closer to Amazon. We have a big Amazon factory in Shakopee, and we have Canterbury Park, and they're gonna start horse racing tomorrow. No, Monday. Yeah. No, it already opened. Excuse me, it already opened May 18th. It's been open since May 18th. 2,500 people were allowed to go in. So that's going on down here. It's only, one other thing. This is the weird thing. They sent me a thing on my phone that says that I can still get, because, libraries stayed open, but they would bring the books to like your street or something like that. Now, right here, I just got an email that said they're going to continue to do the same thing. I just read in this paper that is actually older information. The libraries are going to open back up. So the libraries are going to open back up. Not an amazing amount of deaths. One, two, three, four, five, six. A 15-year-old girl on here, but everybody else is kind of older. And apparently the police aren't fucking with anybody down here. They found a piece of wood, pre-glacier wood, from 14,000 years ago. Guy was digging some kind of cables, and they found some wood basically around 14,000 years. That's kind of interesting. They found it like in wet because they had to go so low. How many feet was it? 18 feet below ground level. They found this. And yeah, turns out to be pre glacier. What did they say? Okay, scientific records, and this is estimate. That's the record. That's the word, estimate. This area was covered with glaciers 10 to 12,000 years ago. As ice sheets melted, glaciers deposited items they have collected as they moved. That's why down here we have a lot of pink granite. The pink granite, and we have basalt. We have a lot of basalt, and it came from Canada down here. And as the glaciers melted, supposedly, we don't know what happened. Fires. Oh, the most exciting news, maybe for some of you. September 11th, on 9/11/21, Jonas Brothers are going to be at Mystic Lake. So, those of you that would love to see the Jonas Brothers, I could probably call somebody and get a ticket. I know somebody out there. And just let me give you an example. They got some housing prices. 395,000, 378,000. Land, just 80,000 for the land. And to be on the golf course, 800,000 doesn't look like a very big house, about 3,000 square feet. But this other house for 378,000 is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a typical Minnesota house. They finished the basement. Normally they put 2 bedrooms in the basement. If this is 3 bedrooms, that means 1 bedroom upstairs. So fairly, like probably 2,000 square feet, 2,200 square feet. Yeah. This is the time to sell. Imagine down south somewhere would be a lot cheaper. It is fairly expensive to live in some of these areas. So that's concludes who they fucking with in Prior Lake. Valerie, thanks for joining. Why can't they find any slave ships? And did they ever find a ship in the Bible? It's funny. I want to say that the people that put together the TV show Ancient Aliens, they've always done documentaries, I pretty much think. And this thing came out in the 70s, supposedly, where is it? They supposedly found the ark, they've been saying for years. But since technology is better than drones, they ain't really talking about that thing anymore. Slave ships didn't really exist. They didn't exist. It like if you see that blueprint with all the slaves packed in like sardines, that's a blueprint. Slave ships never existed. There was never an exerted effort to bring them from Africa to America. Now, what happened is once they started murking all the people in the islands, they started snatching people off the coast at first and taking them to the islands, and then they end up going in bigger numbers as they started working with the Cherokee and other tribes that sided with the British. British kind of helped taking slaves to the islands. As I've said before, some of my family was taken out of North Carolina, taken down to Jamaica. Very common thing. So the slave ships, that's the biggest lie. Now, I want to have Brother James back on here, and he said he heard this first in the military in the 80s. There are people that were like Columbus took 25 lived, but they started, when Columbus didn't find a whole lot of gold. They found a little bit, but not much as they had hoped for, not golden cities. He took, that was what Columbus saw as his bread ticket. Again, Columbus was a Jewish faith cat, and they saw slavery as because I think 5 lived the first time, more and more lived. And Isabella kind of like said, nah, you can't be slaving these people and bring them here. And even under Inquisition. And so they tried to go around that by saying they're cannibals and you could slave people if they cannibals. And that was just Columbus. And we know by Columbus's last trip, they put this motherfucker in jail. And I'm the only one that really talks about the meat business. As far as you had a lot of these people, a lot of these Spanish Europeans that there wasn't no pigs here. There wasn't no cows in America. So fish was about it. Few mammals, wild birds you could eat, but not like what they were used to eating. And there's reports out there where they actually started eating people to get that meat taste like cow, chicken. Well, cow. They say people taste very similar, to some of these animals. And they started salting them and taking them back to Europe. So that's a part they don't like telling either. So it's a big lie. It's a lie, and they know they're lying about it, but they're getting caught in their lies. And so that's why the Pan-Africans have been trying to go so hard to keep your mind in Africa. With Jesse Jackson, as I was saying, Jesse Jackson was running for president. He was everywhere. Like they was hardly like they got on him because Jesse, what did they do? Jesse called the New York Center where the Jewish faith people lived. He was calling the Jaime Town. Remember in the hot tub skit? No. Maybe that was even different. Him just being James Brown. Eddie Murphy was like, "Don't let me down, Jaime Town." I don't know if y'all remember that, but that's what Eddie Murphy was saying. Don't let me down, Jaime Town. But Jesse was on everything, going everywhere. But African American this, it was like every other word, so you could tell it was a spell. Like I was listening to a young lady tonight. She kept saying this spell over and over again. I'm just listening to her. I'm like, because certain words are break words. We speak just like a rap song. There's breaks and there's transition words. Like I talk about the spell at the end of the day spell. That's probably been going around since 11. That's the earliest I've heard that type of spell. But it was funny. And it was like after a minute, I just couldn't listen to her anymore. Because I'm like, I'm not going to take on your spell just from listening to that stupid shit. So some people can't help themselves because they don't know. They don't know that that's what they're doing. They're spelling over and over and over again. So, and that goes with, and this just came up, popped in my head. I guess I'll get this part too. Is like, don't create spells. Like your children go out, use your car. Don't create a spell. Don't create a story of doom. You have to keep it blank. Because a lot of times what you create and what you say, well, these are my fears. They're your fears. Your child going out, they ain't going to quite have those fears. Okay. Not sure what that means. It means something. Okay. I don't need that shit. So don't do that either. Keep it blank. They go, keep it blank. Don't you start creating and do the same thing for yourself. Keep it blank. Don't start writing that script of what you think can happen. Don't doom yourself. Tonight is a nice night here in Gaither. Go Shay. Okay, we got clear skies with temps to 70s. Nice, Lorenzo. It's mild here. I mean, all the windows are shut. I ain't got fans going. The Aboriginal people of this land were mixed with Africans, mostly melanin Indians, with a large amount of slaves. Melanin Indians were the large amount of slaves. Well, what you see is, like, I guess I'll amend what I said. One of the first things, and this is Tasha's relatives, one of the first things that they started doing, even with Columbus Day, is they started riding the coast and taking people. That's when they take, I think it's Pocahontas' father. He gets snatched and then tricks them into bringing him back. And then he kills the friars that he's with. But that is, I mean, that's kind of how they started doing it. But the next thing became kind of almost what was done in Africa. Conquering tribes would sell off the tribes that was conquered. The Watsos, I was thinking it's the tribe that I caught them even slaving all the way into Arizona. This tribe was allowed to slave from the very beginning and didn't stop until they was in Arizona slaving, and they got stopped by the Spanish from slaving. Westos, the Westo tribe that came from the east too. So cannibals, yeah. So that's where the large amount. But it was interesting on his thing. Uh, Again, the numbers we find now, I know in his thing, he was saying 300,000 Africans came from. Now the numbers are now adjusted. It seems more like 80,000, because why would you need to bring more people here? Again, a lot of American slaves was taken to the islands, and so it would have been easier for them to just go into the islands, other than Brazil. But that trip still over the Atlantic in them boats, and saying there's a natural way of wind that just will blow you here. Well, it's hard for these metal ships to make it. So you know how hard it had to be for those ships to make it. So as I've said before, it seems to be a little bit of changing in history somewhere in there that doesn't make a lot of sense. But thank you for adding that, Overstand. I appreciate it. It was like when they went over to Australia and killed all the dodo birds. They said it tastes something like a turkey, but these was birds that couldn't fly. So it was easy for them to just slaughter them. And that's what they did. They just slaughtered them until the only thing that exists is a stuffed one. But that's kind of the European way. They don't know better. I mean, they got rid of all the bison, because we don't have buffalo in America. We have bison, but they murked all them on purpose to displace the Westerns, tribes that followed them, kind of like the mongrel days, followed the herds, like still done in certain parts of Mongolia. But and to steal their land. I know people think that animals can't have land, but I've talked about this before. Those buffalo had ran them lands for millions of years. So who has the right to say that they don't own those lands? The American idea is they own that shit. They're the ones that make that trip every year. So technically they own that. But the European way of thinking says that, that they don't allow that. Europeans don't understand that concept of nature, of loving nature. Their thing is any way to make a dollar. We take whatever. Kill them all, put fences up, and then you don't even have them anymore. Because what we see modernly now was some of the ones left mixed with cows. The bisons was mixed with cows. That's how they kept them alive. They mixed them with cows. Eight Wind, is the news line about the aliens? I mean, the aliens is us. It's our government. So more than likely they're gonna bring in synthetics. That's what I'm getting, is they're gonna bring in synthetics to pretend, but it's us. And then I've talked about the Netflix show of fighting the synthetics, fighting the humans, and the humans coming back as the invaders. It's going to be humans. So they're going to try to give you some kind of different thing, but it's the military technology that they've been doing. So they lying about it. Yeah, they lying about it. It ain't no aliens. It's the shit that's always been around here. Like one divineness said, alien can be an ancestor coming back, or an entity that for some reason is around your family and comes and checks on you. That technically is an alien. Even like when these energies come around me, hero twins come around me. I mean, these are technically aliens, but the what they're gonna put in front of the people is going to be the military, basically. because that's the only thing. The Western way of thinking, that's all you can do is more technology means a way to control. Uh, have you ever listened to music that reveals the way you can hear Satan's music? I don't know. I mean, I've heard some of that stuff played backwards. Don't know if I agree with that. Because some, like the same people they accuse of playing backwards, you can read about them turning the music to the 440 hertz, like Jimi Hendrix and some others did, playing a different vibration, the more of the natural vibration that's going on. So it's kind of hard to understand, kind of hard to, if you agree with that or not. So I don't know. I mean, what is Satan? Which one? Like you talking about devils? Which devil? I mean, it ain't just the one; it's a bunch of devils. So which one? So I don't know. I don't know about that. It is now. Is it a wicked vibration? Absolutely. When you listen to Cardi B's music, it's a lower vibration music. Absolutely is. That kind of music, I wouldn't say it's satanic, but I'm saying it's a lower vibration. Little Nas X. Now that's straight up satanic because it hits every agenda that the Americans is trying to push. So that stuff is very that would be to me devil music. John Todd revealed that information. Okay, the Heat becomes the Heat became the second team in this playoff format to go from sweeping in the first round to being swept in the first round the following year. I guess the Heat got their bubble bust. Yeah, but if you listened earlier, how they were, I heard one of the announcers, maybe it was Jalen Rose or Williams, maybe even Jay Williams. They were saying that being in the bubble, this is the excuse they gave them, that being in the bubble was the perfect storm for them. They was able to adjust quicker than other teams. But again, when Dallas won it one year, they didn't even make the playoffs the next year, which shows you they really wasn't good. That's what it showed you. It really wasn't good. They hyped him up. Jimmy Butler's a role player. He's a role player. He ain't really a shooter. I mean, his three is so weak, even with basket manipulation, he ain't consistent. So, uh, so I don't know. So yeah, they got put out, but it didn't surprise me they got put out. I mean, you saw the writing on the wall. They never played well. And remember, Tyler Hero played so well. Rap song about Tyler Hero, and look how he played this year. Didn't really play good. Uh, if they are aliens, they are either light years away or next to us, but in a different dimension. That's interesting. I'll say this. Yeah, this kind of touches that a little bit. So I was meditating not last night, maybe the night before. No, it would have been yesterday afternoon, or maybe last evening when I got done with this. But was it last night? Maybe it was last night. Not last night, night before. But again, I when I meditate, I put the blindfold on and everything, and I just felt a presence standing here. I just really did. I couldn't really see the shape, but I just felt the presence of the motherfucker like standing in here. So I was like, okay, what is this? And so, and then as I was just probing, and I was like, okay, it doesn't appear whatever's standing. I don't see any harm coming from it, so it appears okay. But I felt that presence, so someone else was using this space. So could be again. If you believe in the dimensions is all right here, right now far as dimension wise. Again, you sit, and that's my whole thing about talking about just living in space. All this space is used, so it couldn't do it any other way. I mean, if we do live in an illusionary world, that is how it would work. Is it would be multiple layers here around us. So. Hmm. Is there? Oh, here we go. Would you agree that most noble purposes in life is the pursuit of knowledge? Hmm. Well, I guess if you throw in there that going after the knowledge brings you joy, finding new knowledge brings you joy. I think you would have to add joy, love, bliss, and all that. All these are probably the same purpose just as much as gaining knowledge, because to have the love, the bliss, and the joy, you have to have a certain knowledge to know how to make that all work and make that all work at the right time. Because a lot of times you can find some of that, and a lot of times you can chase stuff down the rabbit hole. So you have to check yourself from doing that. Things that really is just, it's a loop. It's some of these historical events is just a loop. So I guess it's the knowledge that you're going after, but you have to have all those other things too. I think. But I read. Let me see. Is there a high vibration frequency or beneficial soundtrack music to listen to, and what number? Well, the golden ratio. I thought the book is here. The golden ratio is I think the 520 hertz, which is the universal sound. When they supposedly put the little toaster and put it out in space, they put that tone there. So that's called the perfect fit. I think it's a mix of C and D tones. But I don't have that information right in front of me, and I don't think that book. That book might be right there. Let me check. I think it's right there. Excuse me for a second. It is not. It is not right here. Oh well. But yeah, I believe it's the perfect fit. If I went and got my auto tuner, I think that's what it is. It's the perfect fit. And you can find classical music played in the perfect fit. That the whole thing is written in the perfect fit. I'll try to look that up when I find the book. It's somewhere around here. But I think that it's some classical music played in the perfect fit. So, or you can just look that up too. But I think it's the 528 hertz is the universal sound. So if you was like when I talk about going to be with the source, you would hit one of those tunes. Now, as far as listening, that's a personal preference. There's popular music that can move your kundalini. I've talked about slow love music from the R&B from the 60s and 70s. These type of music listening to can move your kundalini, can relax you. So it's kind of a personal preference on a vibration that can keep you higher vibration. So, but like Cardi B is going to lower your vibration, and it's up and it's up. Did I see Zach's? No, I did not. Thank you, Valerie. That is kind of you. So I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered it. Hey, James, what's happening? Didn't see you come in. Thank you for coming in. No, I didn't see Zach did something about the Nuggets and Trailblazers game. I did not see that. I didn't even get anything from that. Yeah, I did not get anything from about Zach. No, last thing I got from him was like a day ago. Yeah, I haven't got anything from Zach, and nothing was in my nothing here. Let me see if it's up here. No, people commenting on my stuff. So no, I do not see anything that came from Zach today. No, missed it, or it didn't. It hasn't crossed over my feed. Yeah. No. I have to look it up. What is it under sports? Under Gematria Sports. I think he goes by that too. So now I missed that about from Zach. Hey, hello, Erdenise. Hello. Thank you for joining me. So no, I didn't see that. I didn't see it today. Thank you though. Yeah, Zach was at the Portland game. He said Kwame Brown will be on the show. He was going to ask him if the NBA is rigged. Okay. Oh, so that's why he said he was on his way to Portland. I thought he was just out in Portland. I didn't know he was going to the game. I thought he was just going to walk around corners and stuff, but he actually went to the game. Interesting. Didn't know he went to the game. So no, I didn't. I have to look that up. I didn't get it. I didn't get anything from him at all. I love just curious what all the different frequencies, music, and sounds I see on YouTube. I'll say now this okay. Now, like I like storm music, so I like hearing storms, thunderstorms, and rain. Again, I am a storm energy, a shock energy. But there is one they'll pop up because they always pretty much live. Not him. Not him. Dang, did they take it away? Because wow, this always comes up. They're always live. Well, they ain't live right now. I don't see the name. They're always live and they're not showing live right now. But that's what I listen to. A lot of blanks, like you can get the blank screen, storm music. Oh, right here, Stardust Vibes. Stardust Vibes is pretty good. Stardust Vibes, like right here, he has Under Umbrella Rain sound, Ocean Waterfowl, Stormy Waves, Snowy Winter Path. Yeah, in the winter, I like when he'll have blizzard sounds, and I know that sound. Like right here, he has heavy thunderstorm sounds for sleeping. So I kind of like nature sounds. That's kind of my own preference. I kind of like these nature sounds. Sometimes I'll even, because again, it's, when you listen to something, for meditating in time, it's a little easier to give you a time lapse. Popular music or any music, is another way because you can kind of count, each song's about 2 to 3 minutes long and you can kind of count how long you're going. But so these are kind of things. So Stardust Vibes. Now I've told about this before, back when this witch was messing with me and I was trolling her, I guess you could say. But I downloaded some of these sound bowls and from the phone. It was a phone app. And I found that had something in it that was funky. So that kind of thing, from that experience, that was kind of funky. The Stardust, I don't see anything from that. But I remember when I did the singing bowls from my phone, it was something, it carried the energy with it, a negative energy with it at that. So, because they know that most people are going to listen to that kind of thing and start meditating. And so they're looking to insert themselves as an attachment. So, but as far as this thing I just said with the music and the sounds, but jazz is good for that too. Jazz, jazz kind of hits some of those too, because it's jazz is very sophisticated as far as listening to it, whereas popular music's not as sophisticated. A lot of the music is what they call canned music. You can take the strings from here and take this part, whereas most jazz is sheet music they're playing. So it's a little more sophistication to it. Man, I chewed the hell out of this cigar today. Overstand said, the nature sounds are beautiful, soothes me and helps me connect. I am careful but curious with other people's sounds and noises. Oh, of course. Yeah, you have to, because you never know. Some people could put together some kind of sound that resonates really high with you. So, yeah, very possible. There's something soothing about the pitter patter of rain on the window pane or a waterfall. Absolutely, I agree. He was on the megaphone telling people how satanic and rigged the NBA is. The same stuff he does on his channel. He just took on the road. The people walked past him like he wasn't there. I'll say this, like you got to go where people can hear you. And it's like, it almost comes to the point where the dude is holding the Jesus sign that says, this is the end of the world. It almost turns into that kind of thing. So is that the place for people to hear you? People ain't, think of the timing too. The timing, people just allow back in the games. People care more about their distractions than hearing these truths. So it's kind of the thing where you've got to read the crowd, and can you force the crowd? I don't know. I don't know that you could really force the crowd like that. So Is that the place, and is it the right time? That's on him, though. He's doing what the Jehovah's Witness do, and that's good. You take the message to the street. That's what the Jehovah's Witness do. They take the message door to door. So, what is the best thing to play in the casino to make money? You could do a little money spell. That's not harmful because they doing spells against you. You can believe that. They're doing spells against you in there. What is it called? Zero. Netflix has a show named Zero. Zero could disappear. And he was disappearing, helping them cheat. They went and got their spiritual chick. And she was like, he didn't know if she could see him or not, but he saw on the etheric level, he saw her. Or he was just he could just be clear in this thing. And so, and just like the magicians was saying when they was trying to rob a bank, that there was magic to stop the bank from being robbed with magic. I think that's very plausible. So you could do a little thing with citrine, but as far as I don't know if that there's a rhythm that could help you there. I don't know. You'd have to work with your own magic to see what would work. That would be trial and error. You really could, like, depending on what you like to do, you could just say, okay, I think these sounds might help me, and play however you play. I guess the easiest example says you do slots. Listen to certain songs and see if they'll get the rhythm of the slot, because even on this computer, there's still types of rhythm, and they got to let you win sometimes, or people won't go in there if they just always lose. So if you put on a certain song and the song hits that rhythm that the machine is doing, that's possible. I don't know how long you could hold that, because it might only be the duration of certain songs. So maybe you just have to keep repeating that one song. But it's a kind of rhythm to those machines too, but not that you could really win. But that kind of thing. Trial and error. Well, thank you guys. That is so cool. So it's not that it's impossible, but it would be a trial and error kind of thing on you, because you're probably only going to be able to hold it for a few minutes. And this is maybe even like this, like, listen to the music, play, and if you see you could win, pause the music, play a few times, and then turn the music back on. So that way the machine wouldn't see that you were using this vibration. Because if you just kept doing it, like if you just kept playing it through and you see that the vibration is working with you, then they'll start doing counter spells to stop you. But if you bring it in, pause it, play, win, bring it in, pause it, it would probably be harder for them to break that type of rhythm. But you'd have to experiment, because again, you're going into a place of high magic. This is a wizard's den. so it's not a lot you're going to get away with. But the casino near me is just all electronics crap, electronics roulette. So it ain't really, it's all electronics. So there's no really feeling in electronics. How are you feeling hot when you're pushing the ball to throw the craps? It's the stupidest shit they ever came up with. Is people stupid enough to play that shit. What is the best way to remove self-doubt? Look in the mirror and say, you the baddest motherfucker on this earth. Look in the mirror saying that ain't nothing you can conquer. Look in the mirror and say, I've conquered all this already, so I can keep conquering. You've got to burn that out. Burn that out of your soul. Because, again, failure is not necessarily reason to self-doubt you. If you understand, because failing means trying. And trying to get the formula. It's just like alchemy. You just keep trying to get the formula better. Now, self-doubt is you looking at the motherfucker next to you, and you got to believe in that person. Because if you can't look in that mirror and say, you Mr. Motherfucker, and be a super saiyan when you leave, then the way doubt will go, it's like as soon as you leave, shit'll start gnawing at you. So you have to believe in you, and that comes from self-love. Because if you love yourself unconditionally, you forgive yourself knowing that you cannot be a perfect being. Now, I know self-doubt goes into a little bit more than that, but to try to just relieve the question is believe in yourself, believe in your abilities. So whatever you're doubting about yourself or your abilities, throw them out, because there's nothing wrong with failing. So, but remember the try. Remember the trying. Feel good about yourself enough to at least try and know you're going to give it your best, and you did your best. So that would be my advice. I'll give a dude an A for effort, but then people wasn't trying to hear that. Like you just said that they're back in the arena to see the game. So his timing was off. Yeah, exactly. You have to know your crowd. You have to read your audience. And obviously he wasn't. That wasn't the time for that. People ain't been able to go to games and all, and it's a playoff game too. Come on. It ain't the time for that. People ain't trying to hear that. They couldn't hear it. They couldn't hear it. They couldn't hear it. The machine is in their head, so they can't hear it. So it's just timing. Not to say, I give them an A, like you said, an A for effort, because again, the word does have to be in the street, and putting the word and the numbers in the street is a way to move it, because it'll move. It will move. It will move because he's putting in the street. So the energy's there. So as people leaving, that energy, the message, some people might be able to hear it as they leave, not even hearing him, but because he put it out there, it could still be there. So, but I will say this to him: don't give up. Just understand the timing of everything. You've got to be where people will hear you. PJ said it. PJ said it probably adds on to their spell they put out for people not to win. There you go. Best medicine for self-doubt is not to give a fuck. I agree, but yeah, that is pretty much it, isn't it? You can't give a fuck, but be unfuckable though. Remember that. Be unfuckable, where you can't be fucked with also. So, but look in the mirror and say you can do it. I mean, what is the spell now? We got this. You got this. That's the light spell they put on. But that's a positive thing. You do have it. So that's a positive spell. You can do it. You can do it. So, and even if you don't succeed in the thing that you have doubt about, you tried. You have to give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, I tried that. What do I try next? What do I try next? Don't quit. I mean, like the old spell they gave us for football. You got to fight even though you want to cry. I have used that so many times in life. You have to fight even though you want to cry. That's how you got to kind of look at it. I'll do better next time. Dropping gems. I wish I knew. I've learned some long ago. I'd be me now, I suppose. Self-confidence, not cockiness, just confidence. Yeah, my Narada wrote a song. What did he say? Confidence is, knowing. Confidence is knowing. And confidence might be one of the times where you believe. You believe. I mean, when I was in junior high, I knew it wasn't too many high school players better than me. So when I walked in the gym, I knew. And even when I my whole life of playing basketball, there wasn't one time I went in the gym. Like I was talking about when I was guarding Big Dungy. Dungy was 6'6", 270, like Barkley, but taller. And the first time I got the ball, I scored on him. Easy. I just took him, shook him, boom, scored. He came back, they gave it to him, he scored on me. But the point is I didn't look at him like, damn, I'm not going to be able to hoop. I'm looking like, ain't no way you could stay with me. You ain't quick enough. So You know, I felt that my whole life. At this, even when my jumping ability went, I still was always a good rebounder, and I tried on defense. I had good timing to block shots. So my whole career, I never felt that there was nowhere I couldn't play. Never felt that. I always believed in myself. And you should believe in yourself because we believe in you too. Um, Let me write dropping gems. I wish I knew what I've learned long ago, yet I wouldn't be me. That's right. That's right. I believe that's why he went. I told you I am conflicted with him. Haven't watched him in real in months. Key, I catch like Rhino comes on there. That guy, I like him. I'll listen to him. He usually that's how Zach starts his show. When he comes on, I listen to that dude. That dude is connected to divine feminine in a way that I see it too. And so I don't know why that cat doesn't do on his own because that cat is deep. I'll say that. That's what I dig. But that's why I normally catch the early part of his show so I can listen to that cat because that cat is on point. But I mean, I ain't gotten really nothing bad to say. We all do our own way. I think that's the only thing is just thinking that's the only way. That ain't the only way. And he gets pissed. He gets pissed when people say that ain't the only way, because in his mind and his knowing, that's the only way. He doesn't see it, and that's a blinding. That you can be blinded by your own system, and I think he gets blinded by his own system. Little ego thrown in there too. It's like I told you the story of this inventor I work with. He would pretty much tell people they were stupid, which he was right. They needed his product, but the presentation. You can't tell people that just because they don't agree with you that they are stupid. I mean, what kind of fans are? What do they say? You get more flies when you bring them to honey, put poison in the honey, than you do if you just shit on everybody. So, but I can understand frustration. I think that's his frustration. I see that he wants fame. I think he wants fame. And that's what I hear in his vainness. I hear fame. He doesn't understand why he's not famous from inventing this or not even inventing this, but making it popular. I think that's what even him and Derek fell out about. Derek looks at it as a practical thing. And Derek looks at all the eclipse. Derek, times eclipse to certain events. So Derek adds that, and Zach belittles that work. I think Derek has a slight point. I could have seen you then. He gets repetitive sometimes. Simple truth is going on Zach, but Zach taught him. Simple truth be going in on Zach, but Zach taught him. Yeah, well, you got a lot of dudes like that. It's a lot of dudes that picked up like Zach doesn't, I don't think, uses demotonator. I think he got somebody to make him one. But at first, Derek is the one that invented it, made it easy, and put the matches in there. And the matches is the magic, is the divinations, is the matches for these numbers. Derek did a good job. As I said before, I haven't got this site to work in months though. So maybe I need to erase it and re-download it. Where's it at? Gemotrinator. The web's best gemotrinator. I haven't got this thing to work properly in months. So I kind of stopped using it. Let's see if I can just run my name. And then see classic. That's right. I got to put it in again. You would think the damn thing would work. Let's see. And then let's go with matches. See how quick it loads. Yeah, see the matching part says load, but I haven't got it to load in months. So I don't know. Maybe I need to erase this one and redo it. It gives me the matches, but it doesn't give the matches. It gives just the numbers that come out. That's all. So probably need to erase it and put it in again. But I haven't got it to work. So, hey, T-Bull, thank you for joining. Simple but true be wrong most of the times. That's funny. There's an app too on the Google App Store. Yeah, I think I did see that. The app is limited. Yeah, Key. I mean, when I first put it down there, it would super fly through everything. But I just noticed that he's had attacks on there where they shut it down at times. So maybe, I mean, it's not acting. I'm not able to get the matches anymore. Just the number matches, but not the names. The names, I can't get the names to come through. So yeah, the app is limited. It's limited now. It used to do a whole lot more. It doesn't do as much. So it's just, there's a lot of different ways, and I don't yay or nay any. It's up to you what you find. Again, I can't tell anybody how to practice magic. You have to figure out the type of magic that works for you. You have to find your magic, what ability you have too, because everybody has magical ability. Just that's one thing they can't take out of being human is that we all can do magic. And that is another reason why they fear us, because just like I was showing on the day out of time, you hold a concert and you tell people they can't be on the grass because the Rams play there. But they know that this one song, they can't stop 80,000 people from wanting to dance to this one song. They knew there was nothing they could do because there was a vibration that it hit with so many, they couldn't stop it. People had to get down there and dance to it, if you understand that. So it's finding your magic. And women are closer to the fire, the divine fire. So intuition seems to come a little easier to some women. I remember being a teenager and girls like, well, I just feel it in my gut that you're cheating. Well, she'd be right, but she didn't have any facts. But, she was like, I think you are. That's just your MO. How do you find your magic? It's a good, fair question. I think the first thing is intuition. See how well your intuition works. That is like those of you that have younger children, start hitting them with telepathy and stuff. But I guess the way I could answer that is there's so like we all are magical beings. And so I guess the best way to find it is just to practice little things. I'll have to bring my big book out here, and there's just so many different possibilities. Like, can you look in the clouds and see certain shapes of the clouds? And does that give you any kind of insight? By just staring at the clouds and looking at forms, do you get some kind of insight from that? It's like after you do that, is there some kind of insight you get from that? But I'm saying magic isn't a very hard thing. It's like I'll say, okay, this is probably the easiest way to connect with magic is timing. Is really timing, is understanding timing, how timing works. Like I give driving so much because that's one of the easiest ways. And it's like, can you see the pattern of the timing when you're trying to go to work? Even maybe if you're a little later stuff. Do you see where the lights want you to go through, or do the lights need you to stop? And can you recognize the timing pattern? And I guess practice, a lot of different ways to practice. Simple things to practice magic. See if you can hit people with telepathy. Family member. See if you can be bugging a family member with telepathy. I mean, it's so many different ways that you could be magical. It's hard for me just to say one thing. But like burning incense, burning sage, burning candles, can you watch the fire dance? Can you communicate with that fire? Like even without blowing on it, can you make that fire dance? Can you sit there and look at that fire and say, I'd like to see you dance? What can you do? And see if you can make the fire, flicker. So it's a lot of different ways that you can do magic. Like with Crazy Sarge doing the smelting, that's alchemy. So that is scientific, practical magic. And most of us, we cook. That's alchemy. Cooking is alchemy. You're changing one thing into another. That's alchemy. Cooking doesn't look as magical, but I've watched women do magic with food. Well, let me see what I got. And come out with, and I know as a husband, I didn't shop the best but she would come out and make it where all the children were joyful and had enough. That's a type of magic. So it's not abracadabra. I guess don't make it that hard. It's not abracadabra. That's a hard kind of type of thing to manifest, because you need to manifest on a simple level before you manifest on a bigger level. You need to learn how to do small manifestations instead of trying to do big ones. So so I guess that's my best excuse. Rams is Abraham, and the ram horn that sounds at the end of the world is the trumpet. Hint, that's why it's a Dodge Ram. That's a good point. That is a good point. Thank you, T-Bull, for sharing that. My wife thinks like that every now and then, and I am innocent. Practice. Practice are not a game. We're talking about practice, man. like the ink block test. They use that magic against your ass. Yeah, they definitely use that against you. But yeah, I guess that would be the same with the clouds. What are you perceiving? What are you perceiving about that? Yeah. So, but don't look at it as something hard. It's in you already, and just practice with little things. Practice with little things because magic is really is manifesting out of nothing. It is really how you look at it. And I don't mean like manifesting winning the lottery. I mean manifesting little things at a time. That is magic. That is magic. Again, understanding timing. That is magic. I've said this before. Where you work, you can manipulate those clocks. And I don't mean going in there. No. You can manipulate it. And that's the thing about wearing a watch when you work. If you do the type of work, you can wear a watch. You can make that watch you wear, you can make the work watches do your time. And I guess that was the magic I learned a long time ago. I would sync my watch with the work time, and damn if I wasn't able to control the work time on my watch. Not what was not the remote movie, the Alan Sandler remote movie, not that. But I'm saying I was never late because I looked at my watch and my watch said what their watch said. And so I was able to manipulate their systems almost every place I worked. And I did that as a young dude. Like one job, I knew it took me 12 minutes to get to work. And lo and behold, I was never late because I was able to have that. Now, once the day goes, it's a little different, but I'm saying that kind of manipulation you can do. So you're never late. When it comes to magic, I love to cook and I get compliments all the time. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, T-Boo. Oh, yeah. I bet your food is good. I bet it is really good. I'm not cooking this weekend. I'm watching the game tomorrow. My daughter, I called them this morning. They called me. And yeah. So I had to, my exes, her boyfriend said some shit smart. She was calling me about some shit. And I'm like, you tell that punk. And she was like, he apologized to you. He wasn't trying to start nothing. I'm like, you goddamn right. He wasn't trying to start nothing. I ain't a beta. I don't want to hear that little sly shit he got to say. And she's like, well, don't get mad at him. Don't come over here. And it's like, yeah, because he'll know I'll be over there and seeing him. It's like, don't do that. He's just playing, he's just talking shit. I'm like, well, I ain't the one to talk shit to. Because I called, he said something slick. I'm like, yeah, you make him keep talking. I'll come see him. She's like, okay, just take it easy. Don't come over here. Don't beat the man up. Because he has a fake eye, and she'd get mad at him. She'd slap him and knock his fake eye out. And those things is pretty fragile. It's funny the way she would describe it. My son watched it one day. He's like, "Yeah, Dad, she smacked him just right. That eye shot across the room, Dad." So but I just don't tolerate idiots. And I'm not gonna hear his bullshit. And they ain't even together anymore. He was just over there for whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he didn't want to see me, no, because I told him before. He said some foul shit when he first came in town. I'm like, okay, you gonna see me? Yeah. Yeah, I didn't play that shit with him at all. And I'm not trying to say black on black crime, but him, he has a very low gauge with me because he is an idiot for one. But I've tried to help him in the past. I'm not gonna say I didn't, but yeah, I wasn't going. I just wasn't in that mood. He caught me like, and I wasn't mad or nothing, but I'm like, yeah, don't you tell him who he talking to. He ain't talking to you. I heard what he said, so I take that he talking to me. Keep it up. But I'm a nice guy. I had to go see him. She told him to shut up. Like she was asking me to, my youngest son is 18. It's like, motherfucker, grow. She was like, well, check on him. Okay, I checked on him. And she's like, well, who was he with? Like, you asking me to ask this grown ass man, who is he with? There's none of my goddamn business who he's with. Obviously, he's all right. I mean, that's one thing I like about the iPhones. You can just FaceTime the motherfucker live. He alive. He ain't saying help. He ain't got no note written on his chest. Help me. He's going. He said, I'm going to this party. Have fun. I can't stop laughing. I shooting across the room. Got me. Yeah, that was a funny story. That's a funny story. Because I would always call him Cockeyed Kurt. and one Christmas, Goofy Michael's going to he's going to college around here somewhere, and Michael was staying over there with them, and Michael was like, because I had said that around them, and they think it's funny calling me Cockeyed Kurt, and then Michael's in his face like, shut up, Cockeyed Kurt. He looked at Michael, and Michael's drunk. They were drunk. They were like 17. They was drinking. It was around Christmas. He was like, Cockeyed Kurt. You have to change this young man. Motherfuckers at time. They get disrespectful and full of themselves. Oh, yeah. And he's a drunk, too. So he ain't, he's balanced and shit is always off. It's hard for him to not drink. But, yeah, he ain't going to get too full of himself with me. Because I don't take fools lightly, and I don't have no patience for that. And he just caught me in the wrong mood. Like, who the fuck is this new motherfucker talking about? Who's he talking to? Not Cockeyed Kurt. Yeah, that's that's the name I made for him, and they call him that shit. My son will say that too. Oh, shut up, Cockeyed Kurt. And he'll get mad, but he ain't saying nothing to my boys. Kurt about 6'1". All my boys is over 6'5", so he ain't saying shit to them. He ain't saying, especially my youngest one. My youngest one will put him in a hold and just hold him there. He wouldn't be able to do nothing. Yeah. I like my food well seasoned. I don't do bland food and mayonnaise sandwiches. There's nothing wrong with mayonnaise, though. Now, mayonnaise by itself, yeah, I'm not a big bread person, but mayonnaise with barbecue on a burger. One of the few things of pork that I do get every once in a while. Mayonnaise and hamburger. Mayonnaise and salami. Yeah, he did. He had the right one. Yes. But it's funny how he lost his eye. He lost his eye through MRSA. Never healed, got infected, ate his eye up. My daughter's mother, very similar. She can't see out of her left eye, like because of LASIK. They had some fucked up. Their tubes wasn't clean, and she ended up getting that shit. And just trying to fix a little bit of LASIK, going in there and get retouched. She lost the vision out of her left eye, basically. Yeah. So it's very similar. And it's funny. This cat is he was one of the crack dudes. We're so crack Dude sold crack for 10 years and nothing to show for it. It's like that was his job. The whole time I knew him, because he comes from Michigan too, is he sold crack. And like he never, like he was at the crack dealer that never rose up. He was at the same level. It's like he never advanced. And I guess he spent some time in jail and shit too, but never he never was the best crack dealer he could be. Uh, uh, but that's their business. I'm gonna need flavor and not just salt and pepper. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of that stuff, bunch of seasonings and stuff. I got all that. When I cook, I cooked asparagus one day with my daughter and those 2 pounds of green beans. They got plenty of stuff on them. My daughter's like, I don't like them like this. I like them black, kind of black, Dad. Cook these green beans where they're kind of black, Dad. Well, I'm like, I don't really have time to cook them anymore, and my pan is burning, so I'm not going to cook them anymore. So eat this little bit. Stuff them in her face. No. That's how these cats in their 40s be bumming. Yeah, selling crack for 10 years. Yeah, it never, he's probably the most unsuccessful crack dealer in the crack dealing history of America. There was never a come up for him. Yeah, it's like, you do this for so long, you would think you would move, but yeah, not him. I'm Haitian. That's how we roll. Okay. I heard you. Yeah, I like the very, very seasoned food as well. Like I said, I don't eat very much pork, but someone that gave me or made me some hot sausages, and Italian hot sauce is really good. And so I did make them. And like before I took my son home, I cut up an onion, and the sausage was already cooked. So all I did is put that in the pan around the onions, and I cooked the onions with a little bit of butter and garlic, and a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of salt powder, and butter, and let the onions brown up in the middle while I'm heating up those. And my son killed 2, and I ate 1. Like I said, I don't eat a whole bunch of pork, but those were good. But that's what it's about, is being joyful and telling experiences. Oh, let me do the divination. Gosh, time is really moving tonight. I guess they trying to push us into this Memorial Day. Memorial Day to me is watch that race. I'm gonna watch the hooping and the hockey, but I want to watch the race too. So I believe we are on day 2. Day 2 is Ik, spirit, breath, wind, cosmic energy, inspiration, vital principle, respiratory system. And if you want to manifest, Sunday is from the north. Manifest from the north, you'll get a little push. And there are 2 storm elements in the cards. Again, the 19th is shock. And then what we have is the other part of shock is Equato. And so I didn't even read the date. It's 13 platoons, 0 platoons, 8 tunes. We're at 10 unals and 2 kin. And getting this card, in this card, we see a medicine man devoted to the code of Equato. We know this because of the bird-like mask he is wearing. The bird beaks is a representation of the wind's currents. The plumed serpent on his head tells us that he is meditating on the constellation of the opposites, the meaning of the feathered serpent. In his skirt, we can see a single circle signifying the number 1, representing the ultimate oneness. He is seated on a jaguar skin, which represents power and capacity of the spiritual vision. In this card, getting this card is a meaningful invitation to realize that you are always surrounded by the sacred presence of the Great Spirit. Equato is everywhere all the time. Therefore, we always have the choice of being aware of that, of entering to the state of tenomia, the practice of accepting the divinity within oneself. This is what the card is telling you to do. Make room in your life, in your heart, for the Great Spirit. Give yourself the time and space to practice tenomia. Tenomia translates as having the good within oneself. Can be understood as a meditative state that leads to the experience of overcoming the false perception of our separation from Source. This is not a trivial topic. The separation from source is at the very basis of our constant state of fear and anguish about living in the ever-changing world. That fundamental experience of separateness sustains all anguish about separation from the mother or the father, or from the long lost partner, and so on. We can perceive a significant and extraordinary difference when our ego surrenders and our awareness is lifted to the pure understanding of our perennial state of oneness with the Great Spirit. Here we go. How often do I allow myself to clear my mind and meditate on my connection with the source? Do I need to open myself to the experience of that connection? What role does the content of my thinking have in shaping the way I see my life proceeds and the things I'm in pursuing? Let me read that again. What role does the content of my thinking have in shaping the way I see my life process and the things that I am pursuing? Is it time to change the nature of the thoughts which I fill my mind most of the time? You've got to think about that, because attachments will give you all these crazy thoughts. And so, again, I've talked all the time about knowing your thoughts compared to knowing attachment thoughts. The best example is my first wife. It'd be like I'm just going off on her, about to leave her. And I'm like, I hate you. I don't even want to be around you. And it's something feeding me, something feeding that anger. That wasn't me. It was a voice there just saying, say this to her to hurt her, say this to her to hurt her. So know that. Here we go. I think this kind of came up. Do I know what my sacred task in this life is? And that's, I think that goes into finding your magic. But what is, like, spiritually, like all you watching me, you have more of a spiritual connection than just watching me. So when you're not seeing me, what are you doing spiritually to lift yourself up, to raise your vibration? Because you have to have something there. And that's why you're saying, how do you find your magic? That's one way. It's like, what am I doing spiritually to lift my vibration up? What works? What did I do this? Why was my vibration higher on this day than that day? What did I do different that I rose my vibration? And can I recreate what I did that day? Most of us can. Have I reached the point when I must take action to accomplish my spiritual or magical abilities? Is there a part of your magic that may be calling you, which you have not given attention to? Have you not noticed when you do magic? That's another part of it. Have you done magic and then didn't sit back and think, wow, I just did some magic? So I send this out to each and every one of you. And I hope it rises you high, raises your vibration. The nature of your thoughts. Speaking of ball games, Maple Leafs Canadians are the first team from Canada to play here since the pandemic. Yes, that is right. That is right, because Tampa Bay won it last year. Didn't they get knocked out? I thought Tampa Bay got knocked out. All I care about is my Wild got knocked out. But I watched the game. Gosh, Bruins won 5-2, right? Let me see. NHL scores yesterday. Oh no, the Lightning won. They're at the Hurricanes. Game 2. Game 1 is today at 4. So last night's game. So yeah, who did I watch? I watched. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So the Canadians, the Canadian beat the Maple Leafs. They're tied 3-3. So game 7 is tomorrow night at 5:00. The Islanders. Yep. That's the game I watched. The Bruins beat the Islanders. I watched that game. The Lightning come on today too. So is this today or tomorrow today? Today. Golden Knights play the Avalanche today. I thought that was Monday. Okay. So Tuesday, June 1st, Lightning Hurricanes game 2. So it looks like, yeah, I saw this. The Knights is going to play. So, yeah, that's the game I watched, the Bruins and the Islanders. But, yeah, so yeah, in Boston they had full capacity. Must have been this Bruins game that was full capacity, or I think 19,000 people there. So we're going to see that more and more. And don't be tricked into wearing masks. I don't really care if you took the plunge or not. Don't be tricked into wearing masks. Don't be tricked into being outcast, because that's what they're trying to create, the outcast society. Just as when it first came up, people was trying to shame people on the plunge. Well, now the plunge people want to shame the unplunge people. That is the psyop. So don't fall for the psyop. Don't be stupid enough, because to shop, they can't really ask you. Your jobs can. That ain't against HIPAA. Your jobs can. And so that's what you have to cross. Because your jobs can ask you, not businesses. First team. Yeah, because shoot, you couldn't even, they shut the borders. Like Toronto Raptors, they didn't live at home this year. They had to live down in Florida because everything was closed up. Oh, here we go. I think tomorrow, I might do cards tomorrow. I think I can get everything set up. I can get everything set up in time and not too preoccupied. I'm going to do cards tomorrow. So write some questions. Those that you plan on checking me out tomorrow, write you some questions, and I'll do some questions. I'll do questions with cards. So, and I'll do a couple different decks. Since I work with these the most, I'll probably do some with this too. And let me see. How do I want to do this? I don't want to throw something out there and then I can't follow through. So that's kind of my hesitation. Let me think on that. This part I'll think of. But yeah, so write your questions, but we have to have where you have to have your intentions to it. You can't just because what I think was happening with the Awakened one was people was waiting for their questions, and they were like just waiting instead of trying to send in for energy to the question. So you can't ask the question without energy. So I think that was missing. So a lot of people were just waiting for the answer, but you have to put intention in it. So you can't just ask a question. You have to ask it with intention. And so as I'm reading it and trying to put it together for you, you have to be sending energy to it. So that's kind of how it works. So I think I did her a disservice not bringing that up. But again, we're trying the best we can do. So, and I got to get her a call. She butt dials me almost every other day, and she's I think she's mad at me. Why don't you wait till tomorrow? Wait till tomorrow, and we'll start that off with you. You'll be first, and I'll let you ask when I have everything set up. So it would be better. It would be better. Because you know what I do? Yeah, I did, because I thought about you, Moray, and I have the pendulum book right here. So I'll let you ask a question more with the pendulum book, and I can, instead of having this big computer here, I'll have a little more space to work with. And so instead of being rushed, so you'll be first tomorrow, and you think of your question, write it down, and then you'll be first tomorrow. Okay, it's the best I can do tonight. And then I'll, like, when I say I go to North Minneapolis, I always carry a weapon. Well, sometimes this is all it takes. I didn't get out of my car. And I normally carry this one most of the time. It's extremely sharp. It's handmade, one of a kind. Damascus steel. This is ram horn. This is some bone. That's bone, I'm pretty sure. But one of my favorite little things. It's heavy as hell. Pants are sagging when I wear it. This ain't no light thing, but it's This is kind of my style. Um, Kind of like my favorite part of my collection is this. I like the chopping knives. Now, the history of this kind of knife is almost called a pill buster because surgeons during the Civil War carried something very similar that could slice, pop a bone off. Like a lot of, the reason why the Civil War, one thing that the Civil War did is it changed bullets. So you didn't have these big balls, and what the big balls did, it tore chunks off where if it hit your arm, you was going to lose your arm. And so they came up with things called pill busters, which is very similar to this, where they could actually just pow and knock the bone off, and then tie it up. So I've always liked this type of knife compared to the other ones. I think I'm lying because I called cat because I couldn't find this one because um, I don't keep this out. I keep this away from because again, it's a lot of moisture. I live near a lake, and I put this in my drawer. I couldn't find it, and so I kept my. I have another pretty knife, pretty big knife that I kept in my back pocket. So I didn't carry this one. I'm lying. Sorry, I'm capping. I didn't carry this one. I carried my other one, and I got to wash the sheath of my other one. So, well, a mini machete, kind of, yeah, it cut some shit. uh, I mean, that's cool if people like it and people want to share my information. I put so much information out there where it's kind of out there, but thank you for that because this algo. Now this is what's funny. I don't have 1,000. I caught when on my other channel a year or two ago. I caught this. I noticed that I wasn't up to 1,000 subscribers, but they running commercials on my shit because I was watching some of my stuff and this commercial popped up. I'm like, because I noticed that there was always money in the account, and I'm like, how could it be money in the account when I ain't got commercials on my shit? But I noticed as you get closer to 1,000, they start running commercials on your shit. So I caught a couple commercials on my. I'm like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Wow, I've been going for an hour and a half. Wow. Um, but yeah, I didn't do a whole bunch. Took a nap during the Memphis game. Actually, took a nap. I was like, yeah, I'll be up for a minute tonight, so I'm gonna get this nap in. I took a nap like in the third quarter, and then at the end of the game, I turned it back on. So it's interesting to watch the show. Um, like Morant showing his daughter and shit. I cringe when I see brothers do that. They're like, well, what about your daughter and show your daughter? And I'm like, yeah, don't put your children out there like that. Curry's did that too. Like, yeah, the way this business works. Like Mark Eaton, Mark Eaton. I showed the Mark Eaton pass today. This dude is 7'4". Now I don't know if he was on a bicycle. I don't know. I read motorcycle that he had a motorcycle accident. Heard someone else say a bicycle, but this dude is 7'4". What could happen to this 64-year-old man? The guy is rich. He played 12 years of pro basketball. He's 64, so he's getting his NBA pension, which is around 300,000 or 400,000 a year, plus what he made during his 12-year career. So what could kill this man? What kind of accident could this man on probably a special made for him motorcycle? What accident could he have that would kill a big man like that? But we look at all this other stuff. We had all these singers dying in the last couple of days. I think Super Sly showed two of them. Then Mark Eaton too. And we in the playoffs. It's like my mother's like, well, you read this stuff and you believe this stuff because she, this is the liberals. They say everything is Q. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. You're telling me that Hollywood didn't start doing rituals until Q came along. So Hollywood never had any rituals. And then Q comes along and all of a sudden Hollywood has rituals. Then I get in there talking about Annette Funicello of the Mickey Mouse Club. Look her up. Walt Disney, we know Walt Disney, but we know all them fuckers that started the movie business and how horrible these people were, especially women. You know, if you study Marilyn Monroe, they said if Marilyn Monroe was a woman, they said she apparently had like 6 abortions. 6 abortions. And you wonder why when she got older and got married, couldn't have children. And abortions wasn't legal back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Not to say people didn't know how to do it. So look up what Kirk Douglas did to Natalie Wood. And then this is what my mother told me. Now, let me see. I don't want to get too personal. But she was like, you wouldn't understand. This happened to me, and you wouldn't understand how that feels because it didn't happen to you. And I'm like, but all these people I read about that it happened to, I kind of do understand that these people had like the term casting couch. Q didn't make that shit up. I mean, if Marilyn Monroe was alive today, she'd have all these motherfuckers in jail. That's partly why they killed her too. She knew too much. But that's the thing. I mean, what did Richard Pryor say about Paul Mooney? He said he walked into the executive office and Paul Mooney was sucking this dude's dick. So you don't think that's part of it? To be in that? I mean, Richard Pryor talks about how he was out there. He was out there. Probably why he got high so much, trying to kill that. Because when he was his normal self, he was thinking all this shit that he had done. So he had to get high to suppress that shit. And people forget, Richard Pryor was the highest paid actor. I mean, when he played Superman 3, whatever, 2 or 3, I think it was Superman 3, he got paid more than Superman. He didn't even have a very big part. Oh. Mr. Taylor, this is Lurking Class. What this represents is the skull, which is universal knowledge and universal connection. Sorry, I got this window open. And then the mushrooms is the rebirth. The mushrooms are the rebirth. So mushrooms and skulls. And this is the Lurking Class, kind of his motto. It's a brother from Japan, I think. So thank you, Mr. Taylor. But it's Lurking Class from Zoomies. You got to get the Rona. The number 6. I want to be able to travel, and I haven't seen my mom in a year. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. That's what my daughter's mother. She has some trips planned. They go on cruises and gonna fly. So can't judge anybody. You have to do what's right for your life. That's the way I look at it. You have to do what fits your life, and you still with us. So it shows that you can take it and still be with us. So there it goes. There we go. I think Crazy Sarge had it too. I tell you, Crazy Sarge has a good heart. He's a good-hearted brother. He really is. He's a very good-hearted brother. Just saw Paul Mooney roast where Richard said he this and that. Yeah. Exactly. But like, I'm a Richard Pryor historian. I listened to some of them old stuff of him. Again, the first time I heard him was one side was Richard Pryor and one side was Red Fox. So some of his old material. And he tells about his life, what happened to him. In his book, he tells. And so this is what Hollywood is. And so, you know people that want fame, that's what goes with fame. And like, that's what you have to tell people. That's what goes with fame. Like I was saying, Moray had such a big song that they couldn't ignore him. They couldn't ignore him. And so they tried to bring him in because he made his energy on himself. He didn't need them promoting him. So they have to bring this energy in because they want some of the bread, one, but they want some of that energy too. How did he do it? And so they going to patrol him around things. Now, if he signs them contracts, I don't think he needs to. because he's doing it. He's doing it on his own. So why would you need to sign these contracts? But see, success is different from fame because his song was successful. Being on the Breakfast Club and being on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever the other one, I forgot. Jimmy Kimmel, yeah, that's fame. So do you see the difference between success and fame? So he appeared to be going after fame. But he doesn't need to sign anything. Just because he goes on your show don't mean he signs any contract. Maybe a little bit. Because they're evil kind of things. Yeah, Crazy Sarge is good people. He says, I might be good. Oh, now see that? He didn't say hello or nothing. He comes in and talks shit. But my heart is black as can be. Okay. You see that? See? We give him all this props, and he comes in and he talks shit to us. We feel you, Crazy Sarge. You know I'm just bullshitting. I probably didn't see it. I'm talking it shit. I'm just talking shit. You know how I am. I talk shit. Brisk Clown, thank you for joining us. When did basket manipulation start? I think I've talked about it many times. The first one I discovered, and I'll say I'm the first one to discover it. Others have expanded on my work, but I'm the first one discovered. I'm pretty sure that the first shot that was manipulated was a one-shot deal, and that was Don Nelson's game winner in '69, in the '68-'69 season, when Wilt is taken out of the game because he wanted to put some freeze on his knee, so kind of take some of the inflammation out. He can go back out there and play. Coach didn't put him back out there, the coach had Wilt on the bench, and so Don Nelson shoots a shot within the free throw, and it does that high bounce. And I'm pretty sure that was the first manipulated shot. If you look at my work, I showed Jerry West half court shit. Jerry West damn near shot that from the top of the key of the other basket. So that's probably the second manipulated shot. 83, when Ralph Sampson beats the Lakers, when Magic and them had a good team, and when Houston ends up losing to Boston, that was probably where Larry Bird won, where Ralph Sampson catches it and throws it over his shoulder. That is probably the third time it was used that I've caught. But the first game it was used, 85, Georgetown versus Villanova, where Scott Jensen scores 21 points, a 2-point career average college player. The first full game was that game of 85 Georgetown versus Villanova, where Villanova shoots 70%. That is probably the first time it was used. And I am going to have to blow my nose. Plus, I probably should stand up. So give me a second. There we go. Oh, right here. Oh, my Virgin. All right. So that is probably the history of it right there. And then, of course, I think it's 87, Michael Jordan's game. What was the game? No, when was Michael Jordan? Was that 92, 93? When Michael Jordan does the shrug game, that game was definitely manipulated as well. The one where Michael Jordan does that, yeah. He was surprised because Michael Jordan wasn't known for being a three-point shooter. So that was that was definitely manipulated. So who was Michael Jordan playing? Portland? So that might have been 91 season. And what I've caught this year they had a system for Steph. Steph's system wasn't like everybody else. He had a separate system that was the more advanced system. Now they're all using it. But it's the same thing, drawing the ball to the back and then pushing it in. Easy to see. Brisk Clown, 92. Thank you, Brisk. Yeah, 92. Yeah, that Michael Jordan. That was the first time we saw it on a national scale, as far as in the NBA. As far as them highlighting one player who, I bet we could look up Michael Jordan, where he went. What did he go? 7 for 7? Something like that. He was never a jump shooter like that. Again, look at his form. Look at his form. Look at the form that he shot when he beat Carolina. That was his early jump shot. Wasn't a natural good shot. He put the ball too far out front. He shot like this instead of bringing it here. Jordan put the ball out front like that. So it's almost a kind of push instead of using everything. You see how when I'm here, I'm using everything, my legs. When it's up here, you're off balance. So you're almost pushing it in a way. So he had a type of push shot. And you want to here, not here. Look up the Georgetown shot, and you see what I mean. Maybe. Here we go. No, I don't want that. Let me see. See if I can show a picture of that. Against Georgetown. Here we go. So look at that form. That's not good form. You see my point? Matter of fact, he has the ball way too far over here. The ball's too far in front of his head. You see my point? That's not a natural jump shooter right there. That's why Len Bias would have been a way better jump shooter coming into the league. But do you see, he didn't change this until after he came back. He retired and came back. And then he copied Kyle Macy's shot. But you see that? That's poor form. That's poor form. That's a push. Right there. That's a prime example of my point. That ain't a good jump shooter right there. Not even really a good mid-range shooter. Easy to block a person's shot like that. Compared to that. The ball's not out here as much. The ball's up here more. See? He's not pushing it as much there. He's using the full form. So that is a little bit of the history. I had that feeling, even though I'm a fan of his, that something was up. And then he shrugs. Exactly. Because they know. They know. You see him laughing, too. It's just funny, like, you catch them laughing, and they know the shot shouldn't have went in, or they shouldn't have got the foul. I mean, you catch that stuff all the time. And I love Mike. You know, I met Mike several times. Again, Larry went to A&T. Larry played on my intramural team in college. I love playing with Larry. I really did. Larry was one of the few dudes that could really leap, but quick. We would press the shit out of people. And he was one of the few people that could stay when we pressed people that we could anticipate where the ball went. I like that about him. We could press the shit out of people, and dudes couldn't even bring the ball up against us. You did a video from the Bulls' Last Dance. You highlighted the game where Jordan did the shoulder shrug when they say the ball used to go in the hole in Chicago Stadium. Always made me wonder. Yeah, that game was definitely manipulated. Definitely. You can see the shots. It's the old system where boom, you was hearing that boom. I mean, they couldn't do it before without making that adjust. Even the system now, you hear when they rattle in there to catch them, to throw them in. There's a different sound. But this year with Steph, that's the newest system. The system they're using in the playoff is the newer system that Steph was using. And again, it's drawn into the back, but there's a twist where they did something to the net. They did something to the net that catches it where it didn't. The net didn't play as important part. Now, the only time I really say the net had a part in it was Jerry West's shot. Seems like it was something that helped it with that net too. But now the new system, there's something that with the net as well. But we're seeing like LeBron's game winner. We're seeing where that system that was just used by Steph is being used in the playoffs. So, one of my sister high school coach talked to Reggie Miller, shooting coach, and he gave me the finger guide method used and it improved my shot. I'll tell you, like, if you want to teach somebody how to shoot, look up Rick Mount. I met, like you were saying, you met his coach. I met Rick Mount's coach, came to one of the camps I went to. I went to a camp in Indiana. And I was going into 10th, and I was, first day of playing, they was like, yeah, you're not going to play with these ninth graders. I was going into 10th, so he's like, you play with these high schoolers. And so I played with the high schoolers. But the shooting coach came in, and he pointed out, he's like, yeah, you're still throwing. He's like, do this. But Rick Mount is a dude, he's supposed to have the most perfect jump shot in the history. So look Rick Mount up if anybody wants to teach young people how the proper way to shoot. Rick Mount is a great example. And shit, Rick Mount's got to be damn near 80 now. And I know when Rick Mount was like 55, he was still shooting 1,000 shots a day. The dude had been retired for like 25 years, but still shot 1,000 shots every day. I mean, he was that much of a sports junkie, just a gym rat. But yeah, that's what it is a form. Like my friend said, my best friend said he set up the jig machine, and he just laughed. He's like, "You right? It's so much easier setting this up, and I ain't got to throw." I'm like, yeah, and it will get like a jig machine will give a young receiver a consistency in the balls. Because like if I'm throwing to somebody because I ain't really a good quarterback, I'm not going to get it to him the way he wants it every time. But when you have a jig machine, it'll shoot them footballs out the same way every time. Every time it's going to shoot the footballs out the so, and it'll do punch too. So you can shoot that fucker in the air. He said when they first set it up, it shot it into the neighbor's yard, one of the balls, and he had to go get some balls. But it's just a good investment in your children. But yeah, check out Rick Mount. You can catch Rick Mount because he didn't have Rick Mount went to the ABA. He played. He might have played on some of the championship Indiana Pacers team. I don't know if Rick Mount lasted till 77. I think he had to go play in Europe. He had got cut out of the ABA. I don't know if Rick Mount played because I think Rick Mount went to Purdue maybe. And this is a cat. This is an old cat. This cat's old now. He got to be near 70. Well, maybe. I wonder if Rick Mount's still alive. Pro basketball player Rick Mount. Oh, he's 74. Yeah, he went to Purdue. So he's still alive. Is a former ABA player, yeah. Check this out. He was the first high school athlete to be featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I did not know that. Oh, here we go. Rick Mount. Look at that shit. Matter of fact, this is from the freaking, what year is this? If he's 74, he graduated, let me see. 70 would have been, so he must have graduated in, let's see, my cousin is 70. So Rick Mount must have graduated from high school 60. So he must be around Jabbar's age, man, 66, 67 from high school. But I wore warm-ups just like them with the hoodie in the back and stuff, the woolly stuff. We love these kind of warm-ups. We call them the woolies, but that's Rick Mount. But his jump shot, let me see if I catch one. Oh, here we go. That's supposed to be the best jump shot of all time right there. Perfect form. Not a very successful pro. As I said, he played in the ABA. I don't think he ever played in the NBA. Oh, he ended up so he only played for, looks like he only played 5 years. He played 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75 season. So technically he only played probably 75, 76 or 74, 75. So yeah, he didn't have a long career. But yeah, right here. This is the ad. Let me see if I can find it. The middle-aged man is alone on the asphalt playground courts of his youth, a ghostly figure flicking jump shots in a gray morning sky. This has been Rick Mount's haunt for 40 years. When he was 15 years old, he would shoot 1,000 shots a day. And I guess he was 40 years old when this article came out. He's still doing it. And they're evil to him. They say this high school star flopped as a pro, and he really didn't. I mean, wrong place at the wrong time. Now Mount is 54, remarkably lean and bold, still shooting more than 500 graceful jump shots a day. He wasn't playing, probably was playing winter ball, winter semi-pro. So he was in college. Yeah, he was in college in 69. So he went to the ABA instead of the NBA. So this is the article was in Sports Illustrated. So just shows you, okay. You can find him YouTube Gold. Rick Mount is a forgotten great. So apparently you can find him on YouTube. But I met his coach when I was 14, 15. Maybe I just turned 15. Yeah, I had to. And I met his coach, and he helped me with my shot. Can you hear the hoop noise when they make a last-second shot? Next time you see a last-second shot live, don't pay attention to the crowd and announcer. Just pay attention to the sound of the rim. If they manipulate it on the older system, you definitely would when they bubble it in. With Steph's system, it is a new where it takes it to the back and pushes it through, and so there's not as much noise as I've noticed. Because I think the shot I did today, when it's because what it does is it goes in the back and it hits that back piece and then it pushes it through, and so that doesn't make as loud a noise as the old system. He had to come out around 65 or 60, yeah, somewhere in there, because he said he was because my cousin, I'm trying to think, my cousin is 10 years older than me, so she's either 70 or about to turn 70. She graduated in 69. And so 4 years from that, 4 years from that would be that. Because I was reading an article and it says he played a game in 69. And I think 70 was his rookie year. But he went to the ABA. They was paying more money at the time. Yep, 65. Better than Jack Sigma. Sigma, what's interesting about Sigma's game was Sigma, I'll compare Sigma as a dude, Kevin McHale's size, but a better outside shooter. And Sigma, like one thing I loved about McHale is McHale would get the rebound. Some dudes would bring the ball down low. McHale was one of the big dudes, how they teach you. When you catch the ball, you get the ball high, you keep it high. That's what I loved about McHale's game. And Sigma was like that as well. He would get it and he would be higher than people, and then he would shoot, the shot above. So he would catch it and then he would be in position. And then Sigma was what, 6'10", 6'11". So but Sigma would turn and he would turn and be in that position. So and didn't Sigma play with Dennis Johnson and Gus Johnson? Gus Johnson, them Johnsons, I won't say Gus Johnson was from New York. I don't know if he was from Mount Vernon, but I won't say, but it was it was Gus, Frank Johnson. Seemed like Frank went to Wake Forest, but they was brothers. Gus, I won't say Gus Johnson, Frank Johnson. It was another one. All of them, I think, played pro. But I want to say they were from Mount Vernon, New York. But Gus was that. That's a guy you never hear about anymore. Gus Johnson could play. That's why, like with me, and we would think people in the 50s couldn't play, in the 60s couldn't play, and it's never been where dudes couldn't play. You could go to any time where dudes could play. You could go back to the 30s and find a gym where dudes would surprise you that they dunking. Watch one of the like 48, 49. Watch one of them old games where everybody just throwing hooks. So it's people could always play. People could always play. But yeah, I like Sigma shot, the way he kept it high. But McHale was one of the first that would always keep it high. Even some dudes would want to take a dribble, get the ball, be under the basket, want to take a dribble, and then go up. That's silly. But you see dudes today, even watching games today, they catch it under the basket. None of them are trying to shoot it high. Like we was talking about Randall last night. Randall getting his shot blocked. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. You've been in this league long enough. You know you shoot the ball high, and you just letting them block like that. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. Well, guys, I'm getting stuffed up, and I'm not gonna sit here and sniff and snort on y'all. Plus, I've been going 2 hours. My son, nobody's gonna watch you for 2 hours. So, I'm gonna have a different setup tomorrow. I'll do cards. Morea go first, and get some answers. I mean, get some questions, and we'll as people come in, we'll take it from there. And yeah, I need a little practice. So and remember, when you ask a question, you got to have some intention to help it along, because I'm going to need some of your energy. Because I think the way we've been doing it, we ain't been really asking people to send energy, because it's about you. So we need something from you other than just the question. You got to put a little energy behind it. So as you know, I always stop with Isham's poem. And so it might be when he was Nihilist. I think it's actually a Nihilist song. I haven't been able to find it again, though. But I used to have it on tape years ago. But it goes a little something like this. I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everyone that shows interest in this old boy. I appreciate that. I really do. That you stay up late and kick it with me. I appreciate it. And till we meet again, thank you guys.